Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel, or for those of you who are new, if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Amy Rebecca, definitely not quite that girl, but doing what I can to live my best life and taking you guys along for the journey. Today we have another episode of Crazy Tales from Kuwait, where I share some of my funniest, craziest, and in some cases, downright terrifying experiences and stories from back when I lived in Kuwait. Before we get into this one, I just want to point out that this video is for entertainment purposes only. If you're not here to be entertained, it's probably not the place for you. Also, everything I say in this video is based on my own personal experience and opinions. And notice that I am naming no names for legal reasons. Today we're going to be talking about money. Money, 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 money. I should have had that second cup of coffee today. Let's be completely honest for a second. One of the big reasons that so many expat teachers move to Kuwait is because of the money. Based on the research that I've done, which by the way has not been particularly extensive because I've just done it for my own personal job hunting knowledge, Kuwait is one of the best paying countries for teachers, especially when you take into account the fact that your employer has to pay for your accommodation and there is no income tax. When I was applying for jobs for the upcoming school year, I was applying to a lot of schools in Spain and Italy, and when they would come back and let me know how much the pay was, it was not the same. But that's okay, because now I've secured a teaching position in Vietnam for the upcoming school year, so feeling pretty good about that. Anyway, back to Kuwait. In this video, I want to talk specifically about just a sprinkling of some of the money stresses that I encountered while I lived there. Because even though the pay is great, there's no tax, it seems like you're just gonna be raking it in. There were definitely a lot of unforeseen financial stresses, which were extremely terrifying at the time, but now we're just gonna look back at them and laugh because hindsight is a wonderful thing. So when I first got to Kuwait, I was obviously a fish out of water. I had no idea what to expect when it comes to being paid your salary, opening up a bank account, doing all the legal stuff, blah blah blah. But my employer assured all of us new teachers that we didn't need to worry about that because they were going to be responsible for, getting our work visas and opening up our new bank accounts and all of that technical stuff, which sounds great in theory, but in practice was quite stressful because technically they did do those things, but they just took a really long time to do them. For example, they did get my work visa, but they also withheld my passport and refused to give it back for near enough 2.5 months, which I'm pretty sure is against your human rights or some kind of international code. It's definitely not allowed. And it was a similar kind of situation with the bank account because they were quite insistent that we should not just go out, in our own free time and open our own bank account, that they were going to help us open a bank account. They were going to bring the bank people into the school and facilitate us opening these bank accounts. And now when I look back at it, I kind of wonder if they were getting some kind of a kickback from the bank and that's why they were so insistent that we do it through them. Honestly, either way, I don't care. I just wanted a bank account because we were obviously getting paid in cash. You would go into the accountant's office at the end of the month and he would give you an envelope with a huge wad of cash. I'm trying to remember how much I got paid when I lived in Kuwait. I don't remember exactly. It was probably about £2,500 a month in an envelope that someone just handed me over a desk that I couldn't put into a bank account because I didn't have one. And then I would obviously have to take it home and just hide it in the back of a drawer somewhere because I had nowhere to put it. And looking back now, I feel anxious just thinking about it, but that's what I did. Why did I not think that was really terrifying? And this went on for months. The bank people didn't come in to set up all of our bank accounts until I want to say the end of January, maybe the beginning of February. So that would have been August, September, October, November, December, possibly January. So 6 months worth of pay stuffed in the back of a drawer. And I know a lot of you are going to be wondering, why didn't you just go out and set up your own bank account? But you live and learn, and I was so much younger then. I had no experience of living abroad. I had no idea of how the banking system worked in Kuwait. And when you have someone in authority telling you, hey, it's going to be so much better if you just let me do it for you because I have all the paperwork, I know how it goes, HR is going to make it so that it's so much more convenient, and like, you just believe them. I wouldn't believe someone who told me that now, but when you're 25 and clueless, yeah. So I was taking home my big wads of cash, stuffing them in the back of a drawer, and just hoping we didn't get burgled for many months, and that was going okay for me, if I'm being completely honest, until I needed to fly home at Christmas time to visit my family. I couldn't leave what had amounted to at that point, I think, maybe $6.5 grand. I don't remember the exact amount, but like, I'd been saving my money. It was a big pile of notes in the back of my sock drawer. I couldn't just leave it there for 2 weeks while I flew home. So I had to bundle up all of these notes together, like a giant envelope of cash, stuff it in my handbag, and take it on what was probably a 26-hour journey back to the UK, because I had to stop over in Amsterdam. I cannot express to you the sheer amount of terror I felt having that amount of money on my person. It was horrible, and I had a night flight and I couldn't sleep, and I had my bag like scooped up under me. I must have looked like a crazy person, but I was so nervous that my money was gonna like fall out of my bag or somebody was gonna snatch it when I wasn't looking. Oh my gosh, the stress, just reliving it is stressful. And then my parents picked me up from the airport, hugged them, so happy to see them, got in the back of the car and said, oh, by the way, I have nearly £7,000 in cash in my handbag. And my mother almost died. We couldn't put it in my bank account in the UK because, generally speaking, there are very few places where you can actually exchange Kuwaiti dinar into the local currency, because it's not a currency that very many people use. So it's not like my bank or my local travel agent is gonna want like 7 grand's worth of Kuwaiti dinar. Do you know what I mean? So I just had to hold on to it for that 2 weeks. My mom stuffed it in a shoebox and put it in the attic and worried herself ill about it every single day. And then I had to put it back in my handbag and fly it all the way back to Kuwait. It was very stressful. Thankfully, it wasn't too much longer after that I did get the bank account, which was just the biggest relief of my life. But that also wasn't the end to my stressful money problems when I lived in Kuwait. One problem that I regularly had was the issue of transferring my money from my Kuwaiti account back home to my British account. The problem is the system in Kuwait was just slightly different from what I'm used to. And sometimes there would be a bit of a lag between the money moving out of your account in Kuwait and arriving in your account in the UK. Sometimes it would be an hour. Sometimes it would be a few days. But my friend had an instance where her money just disappeared into the abyss for over a week. It was just gone. She would go into the bank every single lunchtime and ask for an update and try and figure out where the money was, because it wasn't in either account, and as time was going on, this was getting more and more concerning, obviously. And the people in the bank were like, yeah, I don't know, it's not with us, it'll get there if it gets there, which is not reassuring to someone at all. So one day I went into the bank with her, sat down with like one of the fancy men in the suits, and I was like, look, I'm sure you can understand my friend's concern because this money has been missing for over a week at this point and no one is able to tell her where it is. What are the steps that we can put in place if this money just never turns up? This man, bless his heart, he was trying so hard to reassure her that it was fine. He was like, hey, don't worry, I lose people's money like this once or twice a week. And I'm like, sir, I don't think that information is doing what you think it's doing. It is not instilling any confidence here. I think in the end it took over 10 days, maybe even near enough 2 weeks for that money to finally land in her bank account. But oh, the stress. I mean, it wasn't even my money, but the stress. Imagine like you have thousands of pounds worth of money that is like, it's nowhere and no one knows where it's gone, and everyone just keeps telling you like, oh, stop worrying about it, why do you keep coming here and complaining? What a wild time. Then there was the whole incident at the end of the school year where a bunch of teachers just didn't get paid like 3 months worth of their salary, and I also got ripped off of my end of gratuity bonus thing. I don't remember what that's called. There's a name for that. I don't remember. But that's a story for a different day that involves literally fleeing from hired thugs and escaping to a lawyer's office in the middle of the city. Honestly, you couldn't make this up if you tried. But I hope you enjoyed my stories from today. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this series so far. Let me know what you think about this. What would you have done if someone just said, oh, the money? Yeah, I don't know where it is. Stop coming here and complaining to us, please. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please go ahead and give it a thumbs up to let me know. If you were just here to tell me that I'm a liar and I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Kuwait and that you hate me, please feel free to give me a thumbs down. It's all engagement to me, my friends. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember that I love you so much. You are enough just as you are, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.